Hi, I'm Paisley Jackson. I'm in 10th grade and I've been going to LCS since 2nd grade.
So, when would you say your Christian walk really began?
So I got saved when I was about 7 years old. I was raised in a Christian family who brought me to church every Sunday and every Wednesday. And I always had godly mentors just pouring the word into me. And so I knew a lot about the Bible. And when I was about 7 years old, I got saved. And after that, um, it was kind of a childlike faith. I didn't depend on the Lord the way I do now. And so couple years later, when middle school started, I started getting made fun of a lot, and I didn't really understand why. And I was just upset that I was different from other people and that I got made fun of for things about myself that I couldn't change. And so I would go home and talk to my parents, and they would give me scripture and tell me that God had a plan and a reason, and that as Christians we're called to be alienated from this world and we aren't supposed to be the same as everyone else. But just hearing it wasn't enough. And so I went to the Word myself and I found Psalm 139:14, which says, "For I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul knows it very well." And that verse just really stuck with me and stood out to me. And I have just started depending. Since then, I've depended on the Lord on a different way, like in a different level, because I've just believed that He has a plan and a reason for everything that He puts us through, and He created me exactly how He wanted me to be.
So, how has being a Christian affected your day to day life and your overall mentality?
So when I started my freshman year, life started to look a lot differently. It was a lot busier, and I was a lot more stressed out with school. And life at home was a lot different because my brother had just graduated, and so I didn't have someone there that I was used to having there my entire life. And later that year, my grandmother also passed away, and so I was dealing with grief and loneliness, and I was really stressed out. And during all the trials, I didn't really understand how God could use it for a bigger purpose, and I didn't understand how there could be a good reason for all the trials that I was going through. But then when I came out at the end of all the trials, I saw how God had used those trials for His glory, and how ultimately they had brought me closer to Him. And so I started my sophomore year with a different mindset, and I would just say that even if I don't understand it at the time, that God has a purpose and a reason for everything that He puts me through. And so I just started to trust that He has a plan and a reason, and that even in the moment, if it doesn't make sense to me or if I don't see how it could be good, I just would remind myself that He has a plan and a reason for every single thing that He puts us through. And so this year, I've just really been depending on the Lord and trusting in Him. And not only just trusting Him, but finding a friend in Him and trusting in Him, and knowing that no matter what trials I go through, that He will be right there beside me through every trial I go through, and He will be walking right beside me to pick me up through my trials.